Before you took your first breath, you made a promise. You were there, not as a body, not yet, as something else, a consciousness without form standing in the presence of the divine. And a question was asked, not in words, in something deeper than language. And you answered, yes. You said yes, then you were born. And the moment you entered this world, crying, gasping for air, that yes was buried so deep inside you that you forgot it ever happened. But your soul didn't forget. Your soul has been screaming that yes your entire life, and you've been calling it restlessness. Ibn Arabi understood this. He called it the primordial covenant. The moment before time began, when every soul stood before Allah and was asked one question: are you ready? And every soul, including yours, said yes. Not because we understood what we were agreeing to, but because in that moment we recognized something. We recognized home. And we wanted it so badly that we agreed to forget it. We agreed to be born into separation just to experience the journey back. This isn't philosophy. This is the architecture of your longing. 800 years ago, Ibn Arabi sat in Damascus, deep in contemplation. He had spent decades studying the mystics, the prophets, the hidden meanings in sacred texts, and he kept returning to one verse in the Qur'an, chapter 7, verse 172. When your Lord took from the children of Adam, from their backs, their descendants, and made them testify concerning themselves, am I not your Lord? They said, yes, we testify. Ibn Arabi read that verse 1,000 times, and one night it cracked open. He realized something that changed everything. That conversation didn't happen in history. It happened before history, before the world was created, before your parents met, before you existed as a body. You existed as a soul, and you made a choice. The ancient mystics called this the day of Alast. Alast means, are you not? The day Allah asked, are you not recognizing me as your Lord? And the souls, billions of them, all said yes. Bala, we bear witness. This wasn't forced, it was recognition, like seeing your reflection and knowing it's you. The souls saw the divine and recognized their source. And in that recognition, they chose. They chose this life, this confusion, this forgetting. Because the only way to truly know God is to forget Him first. And then remember, think about the last time you felt homesick. Not for a place, for something you can't name. That ache in your chest when you're surrounded by people but feel completely alone. That exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. That feeling that you're supposed to be doing something but you don't know what. Ibn Arabi says that's not depression. That's not anxiety. That's your soul remembering the promise. Your soul is homesick for that moment before birth when you stood in the presence of the divine and said yes. And now, trapped in a body, in time, in this world, your soul is trying to get back. But here's what most people don't understand. You're not trying to go back to a place. You're trying to go back to a state of recognition, a state where you knew without question who you were and where you came from. Your entire life has been shaped by that forgotten yes. Every choice you've made, every path you've taken, every moment you felt pulled towards something you couldn't explain, that's not random. That's not coincidence. That's the promise pulling you. Ibn Arabi called it the original nature, fitra, the blueprint written into your soul before you were born. You came into this world with a purpose already encoded in you, not a job, not a role, a frequency, a unique way of reflecting the divine. And your whole life, whether you know it or not, has been about trying to remember that frequency, trying to tune back into the signal you heard before birth. But the world is loud, and the promise is quiet. So you chase things, money, status, love, validation, comfort. You chase them hoping they'll fill the ache. And for a moment, they do. But then the ache comes back, stronger. Because those things aren't what you promised. You didn't stand before the divine and say yes to a career. You didn't say yes to a house or a relationship or an Instagram following. You said yes to something infinitely bigger. You said yes to becoming a mirror, a conscious mirror that reflects the divine back to itself. That was the deal. That was the promise. And your soul will not let you forget it, no matter how hard you try. Ibn Arabi discovered something else. He realized that the promise wasn't just about recognition, it was about transformation. The day of Alast wasn't a contract, it was an invitation to experience what it means to be separated from the source and then reunited with it. Because here's the secret. You can't truly know light until you've been in darkness. You can't know wholeness until you've been broken, and you can't know the divine until you've forgotten and then remembered. That forgetting, that separation, that ache you feel every single day, it's not a mistake. It's the path. The promise you made wasn't, I will always remember you. The promise was, I will forget you so completely that when I finally remember, the reunion will shatter me. And in that shattering, I will become what I was always meant to be. This is why nothing satisfies you. This is why every achievement feels empty after a while. This is why you can have everything and still feel like something's missing. Because what's missing isn't outside you. What's missing is the memory of who you were before the world told you who to be. The memory of the promise. And your soul, deep down, knows this. Your soul knows you're not here to accumulate. You're here to remember. And then, once you remember, to become. So what happens when you start to remember? Ibn Arabi spent years answering this question. He watched it happen to his students. He watched it happen to himself. And he identified the signs. The first sign is disruption. Everything that used to make sense stops making sense. Your old life, your old patterns, your old identity, they start to crack. Not because you're doing something wrong, because the promise is waking up. And it's too big to fit in the small life you've been living. The second sign is sensitivity. You start feeling everything more deeply. Other people's pain, the beauty of a sunrise, the weight of a lie, the presence of the divine in the smallest things. You're not going crazy, you're remembering. Your soul is tuning back into the frequency it heard before birth. The third sign is the pull. You feel pulled towards something you can't explain. Maybe it's solitude, maybe it's a practice, maybe it's a place or a person or a question. You don't know why, but you can't ignore it. That pull is not random. That pull is the promise calling you home. Here's what you do. Tonight, after you finish listening to this, find a quiet place. Turn off your phone. Sit in darkness. Close your eyes. Place your hand on your chest and ask yourself one question. What did I promise? Don't expect words. Don't expect a vision. Just ask and then listen, not with your ears, with your heart. You'll feel something. Maybe it's a warmth. Maybe it's a tightness. Maybe it's a knowing that rises up from somewhere deeper than thought. That's it. That's the promise speaking. Don't analyze it. Don't try to understand it. Just acknowledge it. Say out loud, I remember, I said yes. Even if you don't know what you said yes to, Even if you don't fully believe it, say it. Because the moment you speak it, something shifts. The promise hears you, and it starts pulling harder. Do this every night for 7 nights. Same time, same place, same question. What did I promise? By the 3rd night, you'll notice something. The ache you've been carrying, it doesn't feel like pain anymore. It feels like direction. By the 7th night, you'll start to see your life differently. The failures you thought were mistakes, you'll see them as redirections. The losses you thought destroyed you, you'll see them as clearings. Everything that broke you was breaking you open, making space for the promise to come back. Then, on the 8th night, change the question. Instead of what did I promise, ask this: what does the promise need from me now? And then sit in silence. The answer won't come from your mind. It will come from somewhere deeper. Maybe you'll suddenly know you need to leave something behind. Maybe you'll know you need to start something new. Maybe you'll just know you need to trust. Whatever comes, don't question it. The promise knows the way home. Your job isn't to figure it out. Your job is to follow. Ibn Arabi taught his students one more thing. He told them the promise is not a burden. It's a gift. You were chosen for this. Before you were born, before the world existed, you were chosen to carry a specific reflection of the divine. No one else can carry it. No one else can fulfill it. If you don't remember your promise, a piece of the divine remains hidden. A piece of creation remains incomplete. This isn't pressure. This is purpose. You are not here by accident. You are here because you said yes, and the universe is waiting for you to remember what you agreed to. Here's what starts to happen when you live from the promise instead of from the world. First, you stop chasing. You stop trying to become someone else. You stop trying to fix yourself because you realize there's nothing broken. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're exactly where the promise needs you to be. The delays were preparations. The detours were teachings. The darkness was the womb where your soul was being formed back into what it was before birth. Second, you stop fearing. Death doesn't scare you anymore. Loss doesn't break you because you understand now that nothing real can be lost. The promise you made before birth survives death. It survives every failure, every ending, every goodbye. Your soul is eternal, and the promise is written into your soul, which means it can never be erased. Third, you start recognizing others who remember. You'll meet people and feel an instant knowing. Not attraction, not friendship, recognition. You'll look at them and think, I know you not from this life, from before, from the day of Alast, from the moment we all stood together and said, yes. Those people aren't accidents either. They're mirrors, sent to remind you who you are when you forget. Fourth, your life becomes simpler, not easier. Simpler because you stop living for approval. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You just live from the promise. And the promise doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be true. True to the yes you said before you were born. True to the frequency only you can carry. True to the reflection only you can offer. This is what Ibn Arabi spent his entire life teaching. He didn't write books to impress scholars. He wrote to wake people up, to remind them of the day of Alast, to remind them that they are not random biological accidents wandering a meaningless universe. They are eternal souls who made a sacred promise before time began. And that promise is still alive, still pulling, still waiting. The mystics knew something the modern world has forgotten. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the entire point of this experience, the reason you were born, the reason you suffer, the reason you ache, is so you can remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Remember the promise you made before you took your first breath. Remember the yes. Remember when we started and I asked if you've been searching for something your whole life. Now you know what it is. You're not searching for happiness. You're not searching for success. You're not searching for love or peace or purpose. You're searching for the moment before you were born, the moment you said yes. And the beautiful, devastating truth is this: you don't have to search anymore, because the promise never left you. It's been inside you this whole time, closer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat, closer than your thoughts. It's been waiting for you to stop running, stop chasing, stop pretending, and just remember. Ibn Arabi spent 80 years teaching this one truth. The day of Alast is not in the past. It's happening right now. Every moment you feel that pull, that ache, that homesickness, you're standing before the divine again. And the question is being asked again. Are you ready? And you get to choose again. Yes or no. The promise is yours. The path is yours. The remembering is yours. The day you were born, you made a promise. And today, right now, the promise is calling you home.